Authors Press.
Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. And on the line with us today, we have Linda J. Stilson. We'll be discussing her fantastic book, Life's Journey Through the Bumps, available for purchase through authorspress.com, or if you guys want to get everything that Linda has to offer, do yourself a favor and go directly to her personal sites. Now, there's two of them that I'm going to list for you. The first one is lindastilsonbooks.com, and then the second one is lindastilson-author.com. Both sites, you'll be able to gather more information on Linda herself. You'll be able to purchase the book and her two other books that she has in her repertoire as well. So one more time, that's lindastilsonbooks.com and lindastilson-author.com. And I will say, Linda was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business, Authors Press Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, well, do yourself a favor and contact Authors Press. You can find out more information on them at authorspress.com. And guys, listen, it is an absolute honor to have Linda here on the line because right there in the title, Life's Journey Through the Bumps, you have an idea of what we're going to be discussing. Right from the title, you know we're going to be talking about adversity. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Linda, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction. Thank you for being a guest. How are you?
Very well, and thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, listen, as I stated, this is such an impactful book with so much benefit. So the honor is all ours, and we are truly looking forward to this. Now, Linda, I know we have so much information to cover. But before we jump into the book, let's hold off slightly. Start by articulating to our listening audience a little bit more about yourself, please.
Well, I'm 73 years old. I'm visually impaired, which means I'm legally blind. But as I tell people, I do not let my disability disable me. I am an artist. I love to do line dancing, and I enjoy doing karaoke. And I stay very busy, which has been helpful in my healing process. I found that keeping busy helped me through my grief. And I have a Red Hat group that I formed, so I have about 25 ladies that we get together once a month and do luncheons or museums or various activities. And I do my artwork at home, and I enter my art in the Veterans Art Festival, and I win first place every year. And I won first place nationally on a copper relief of the Last Supper, which I went to Mississippi for the award ceremony and got 2 gold medals. So that's my enjoyment. And as I said, I'm a veteran. I served in the Air Force.
Linda, what an impressive background. What an impressive resume. First and foremost, thank you very much for your service and the awards that you won for your art. Absolutely incredible. Now, I know your art is also available through your personal sites, correct?
Yes, you can see some of the award-winning projects that I've created and submitted at the art festival.
Beautiful. Guys, listen, there is so much there. There's so much to be gained. As I stated, Life's Journey is today's focus, but there are 2 other books in which she's written, and of course now her artwork as well, all available through the sites. Do yourself a favor and make sure you're heading over there. Now, Linda, without further ado, Life's Journey Through the Bumps. Tell us a little bit more about your book, please.
I lost my husband to cancer in 2001. I took care of him at home, and he died at home. And when he died, I, looked at it as, I could sit there and cry, but that's not going to change anything. And so I chose to take the strength that he showed during his suffering, and I chose to be strong. As the song goes, I'm a survivor. And so during my loss, I wrote a couple poems. But then in 2004, I lost my only birth child, my son, Michael. Shot himself while highly intoxicated. And his wife was using cocaine, and she was encouraging him to shoot himself. And, there's no preparation for that kind of loss. I didn't have access to a support group locally, and I found a support group online called Parents of Suicide, which I found very helpful because they would write about what they were going through, and then I could see, oh yeah, I'm experiencing that too. And so I started receiving the poetry at night that they would come to me, and I started writing them down. And so then I started posting my poems on the website, and people would tell me that they were very helpful to them because they couldn't express their feelings into words, and so they kept encouraging me to publish a book, which is why I started looking into publishing the book. And that's where we have Life's Journey Through the Bumps, because as the title expresses, life is full of bumps. It is a journey we almost take, and how we take it is what makes us strong.
Wow. Linda, thank you very much for everything that you've articulated thus far. And we've already started to go into it. The next question that I wanted to ask was really what prompted you to write this book. And thank you, because again, you've already started to move in that direction and answer that based upon the influence of those around you. Now, next question, who's your targeted audience and why?
Prior to writing my book, I had a 31-year-old gentleman from China contact me because he was contemplating suicide, and he wanted to talk to a mother that had lost a child around his age to suicide. And through talking with him, I was able to encourage him to take control of his life, and then he wrote me back and told me that he never thought that a stranger would care whether he lived or died. And so that kind of encouraged me to write the book, so that there was information out there for anybody that was going through a loss. My book deals with some of the struggles I've gone through. It deals with harassment, sexual harassment, molesting, my blindness, many losses that I've encountered, the depression, the suicide that my son completed. Emphasize the word completed. Many times people will say committed. Committed implies a sin. And if a person is going through depression, it isn't a sin, it's an illness. And so we like to say they completed suicide. And so my book mainly is targeted for anyone going through depression, through loss, through any struggles, kind of encouraging them to lean toward their faith to gain strength, and find support through their family and friends. There's resources in the book that offers help on noticing the signs and symptoms for depression and suicide. It lists the stages of grief that you go through. I also listed my stages of grief and how I dealt with each one, so that people can see that and possibly they've encountered the same reaction or response.
Guys, again, here on the line with Linda J. Stilson. We're discussing her fantastic book, Life's Journey Through the Bumps, available for purchase through authorspress.com or directly through her personal sites, lindastilsonbooks.com or lindastilson-author.com. You know, Linda, there's so much value in everything that you've articulated thus far, and one of the main things that really sticks out to me is the importance of the perception in which we choose to take. Now, of course, in the moment, it's always hard to try to find the silver lining, right? And to try to shift your perception off of the negative. And again, being someone that has lost many family members myself, it's not an easy thing to do. But I recognize the value in it because I've been able to slowly but surely chip away at that and really focus on working on changing the perception in which I've had. You know, and you made the comment about your son's suicide and the specific word that you chose to designate to it. And that is a clear example of, again, shifting the perception so that you are having an easier time understanding and dealing with the grief that comes along with it. Now, by no means is just shifting one word going to take the grief away. Nothing, of course, can mask the loss of your son not being in your life, right? Nothing, no matter how many different ways I pose it, nothing can mask the loss of my brothers that have passed away, right? So you can't fill that void, but you can adjust the perception so it makes it easier to deal with that void. And I absolutely love that you took it there and you had the wherewithal. And I love that you brought it up in this interview to really articulate for our listening audience. You know, Linda, I'm curious, how has your book affected the people familiar with it?
Many of family and friends that have bought the book have contacted me and mentioned how they loved my poetry and found that the book was very helpful in their healing, and they have recommended my book to others. Family members have said my book has encouraged them to be strong and to face their struggles. And one of the things that I stress to people is to focus on the memories. You know, we can't change what happened, no matter how hard or we try or how we wish that we could change it. It is as it is. But our memories are with us forever. And it's one of the poems I wrote in the book was Memories Last Forever. And it's true. And you can keep those memories are close to your heart. I've lost my two brothers were twins. I lost them. I've lost my mother and father. My mother when I was 23. I've lost many of my aunts and uncles. I no longer have aunts and uncles on my mother's side. I have one uncle on my father's side. So I've gone through a lot of loss, but my faith is what has given me the strength to go on and make quality time. I have 2 great grandchildren, 2 and 5, Noah and Owen, and they bring me happiness and purpose, and enjoy having them visit. So I hope that people can find something, even if it's just one thing from the book, that helps them in their healing. My one thing that when my son died, was if I could do one thing to stop one mother from having to go through losing a child, then if someone made the comment to me, well, maybe something good will come out of this. And I'm like, how could something good come out of losing your only child? And so the more I thought about it, I thought, well, what could I do to make something good come out of his death? And I feel that I met that requirement when the guy from China was contemplating suicide and had contacted me. And through my emails talking back and forth, I was able to discourage him. And he wrote me back and told me he'd gotten married and was happier than he'd ever been, and thanked me. And so I thought, I saved one mother. And so you never know what life is going to bring you, but be strong, hold on to your faith, whatever your faith is, gain strength from it and move forward.
That, I think, is, again, just a tribute to how magnificent and how powerful this book is. Of course, listen, as I stated before, nothing is going to fill the void. Nothing is going to replace your son's life, right? Or any of the loved ones that you have lost over the years. But that's where I was talking about, again, that silver lining. Unfortunately, you can't bring him back, and nothing will replace that loss. But his death also doesn't have to be in vain, and it doesn't have to just fade away. Utilizing the emotion, the grief, the process that you felt by putting into this book, you've already seen the reach and how powerful this book is just by the gentleman reaching out to you that was also contemplating suicide, and you helped shift that perception. The only way that could have happened is through this journey and through him seeing and experiencing your journey that helped him reflect on his own.
The Lord puts you in the right place at the right time, and I found that to be true because I have been, I was at a hotel in New York, and the maid had lost her sister to suicide, and I had my book with me, and I had given her the book, and she got back with me a couple days later and thanked me so much for the book and expressed how it had helped her. I had the same thing happen when I was in Phoenix. The waiter wasn't there that night because his mother had completed suicide. And I had these bracelets made that said, "Remember me," and was going to pass them out. And we gave them to the wait staff so that they could have one, and then gave the rest to the young man who had lost his mother. And so I have found that to be true, that the Lord puts you where he wants you to be, and was able to help others at that time. And I want to express sympathy for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it. Like I said, I don't, it's been years now, and I don't think it'll never go away, but steadily over time, It's become easier to process. It's become easier to discuss and to talk about. But thank you very much for your words. Guys, listen, as I stated before, Linda has 2 other books. I'm going to name the titles so you guys can know it. We can gain some more traction for her. Definitely make sure you're heading over there. Her personal websites, pick up the other copies of the book as well. But it almost doesn't seem right to go into a discussion with anything else. What a beautiful, beautiful interview. And I say beautiful because even though what we've been discussing is such a difficult concept, it's such a, it definitely has taken me down memory lane, and not the greatest memories, of course, because we're talking about loss of loved ones, but a beautiful discussion in which we had, because it's okay. The big thing that I've taken from this is, guys, you're not alone. Again, we understand, we know that life, as beautiful and as magnificent as it is, comes to an end. You can't avoid that. Death is part of our journey. But how often do we, when we are going through the grief of a loved one, we feel so alone. We feel like we're the only ones going through this. And through these discussions, through this magnificent book, Life's Journey Through the Bumps, you can really come back and understand that you are not on this journey by yourself. There is a support system out there. There are resources out there. Linda's book is only one of them, but it's a fantastic place to start. So once more, authorspress.com, LindaStilsonBooks.com, LindaStilson-author.com are the places you have to go. Life's Journey Through the Bumps is the main book, of course, that we focused on today, but her 2 other books, So Easy Felt Puppets for Classroom or Home Use, and then the last one, Shattered Dreams and Broken Hearts, are the books you have to pick up. And Linda J. Stilson is the author you have to thank for bringing it to your table.
The Shattered Dreams and Broken Hearts, if you purchase the Life's Journey Through the Bumps, then you have everything that was in the Shattered Dreams and Broken Hearts. So you're getting 2 books for the price of 1.
Perfect. Thank you very much for clarifying that, Linda. Listen, guys, you know what you have to do. The books are incredibly unique, but they're so beneficial. Life's Journey Through the Bumps. If this interview hasn't moved you, pinch yourself. I don't know what's going on. This is something that is so relatable. It's so universal. Through the loss, we can gain connections, right? It's just all about how you choose to process and go through it. You are not alone. Linda, this has been an absolute incredible interview, and it's been such an honor having you as a guest. Thank you once again for being with us today on People of Distinction.
And thank you again for having me, and you have a great day.